Just realizing I forgot to hit one of the buttons. Thank you for AJ Musselman watching the stream, talking about that. Just missed up that whole intro. I always forget something with these streams. Anyway, it wasn't really much. Just me trying to sound all dramatic and whatnot, but it really doesn't much. But we're here at the Milwaukee Mile for round number 7 of this series. Robert Mileshka currently working his way around the track. Currently 18th on the board. Working his way through 3 and 4. Curious to see where he ends up, because as we're going to talk about, Connor, qualifying is going to be very important here.
Oh yeah, it was important last week, and it's going to be even more important here, as if you could imagine that, because Kentucky was a lot about track position. We saw that last week with pit stops pretty much deciding the race. It's going to be that and then some here at Milwaukee. You really don't have multiple grooves like we had at Kentucky. We saw drivers on the bottom and the top at Kentucky. Here, it's a 1-mile racetrack, and it's pretty much as flat as you can get. You have nowhere to go, nowhere else to go really to make any sort of move for a pass. You just got to hope the guy in front of you messes up at some point in the dirty air that they will probably have. So you need to put a solid lap down today.
Yeah, Aaron Roos we saw on a lap didn't end up finishing it, or it looks like, or unless he might have finished his second lap and went for a third run. Going to be back in 20th. Chris Stouffer working his way around. I think he's actually done with his qualifying attempts, so going to be back in 21st in the 13 car. Charles Antich, looking at him, just sitting on pit lane. Don't think he's going to have any enough time to roll out there and get any sort of lap down, so he's going to be rolling off from the back, and it looks like pretty much everyone else has qualified by this point. And so, looking at the top, Ray Kingsbury, Brophy, Wood, Joshua Chin, notably joining us for this race, taking a break for the most of this season. Going to be sitting in the 4th place position. So looking to see what he can do, throwing a wrench into things. Has been out for a little while and coming back and pretty much straight to the top. So curious to see what he can do.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do, no doubt, here, as we got a lot of the top guys, you know, in the season, in the history of this series, for the most part, in this race. You have Tim Holgate, who's joined us tonight. He's going to qualify in the 15th position. 2-time winner here at Milwaukee. Same for Joshua Chin. Both of them winning back-to-back races here, and both of them near the top of the all-time wins list. Joshua Chin tied at 10 with Adam Blocker, who I don't believe is here tonight. Tim Holgate at 8 wins total, 3rd on the list. So see if one of those guys can move up the rankings. We'll see if Joshua Chin can become the outright all-time winner here.
Yeah, a little bit of a warm-up session we got going on here before we go racing. Let's go. I was a little curious, concerned for a second. I was wondering what was going on. Just a 5-minute warm. We get these guys warmed back up, and then they can go get let loose here. We got 160 laps here on tap tonight. It's going to be a fairly short race. I mean, these guys are flying around here in 20-something seconds. These cars are extremely fast. I mean, they're breaking 180 miles an hour by the end of these straightaways. It's incredibly fast.
Yeah, it's very fast, and we'll see how much green flag racing we get. We saw a lot of it last week, a wide track, obviously Kentucky and Milwaukee. You're going to see a lot of one-groove action. Everyone sort of planted to the curbing in 1 and 2 and just to the very bottom in 3 and 4 as well. We'll see if we get the green flag pit stops, because it's not going to be an easy entry into this track. The pit entry so much lower than it would be, you know, normally at any sort of track. It's just sort of out of the way it juts into the inside pit wall. You have to get below the yellow line on entry as well, or else you will get a penalty. So a lot of drivers got to be aware of that, or else you're going to take yourself out of contention.
Yeah, so I see Josh Chin already side by side. No, not Josh Chin. Who is that? Seeing oh, it's Van de Sant in a white and purple machine. Notably, normally white and purple is Joshua Chin. He's just kind of relaxing on pit road at the moment. In behind, who I believe is Jason Brophy in the black and yellow. It's amazingly hard to look at to tell who's who when they're not in order on the ticker. But starting to learn everyone's paint schemes, and just as we're at the halfway point of the season, memorize everyone's new paints. And I gotta say, in general, to this field, absolutely spectacular. Everyone on their paint scheme game, especially the guy up ahead, Andreas Ike. Beautiful gray, red, and orange machine. Hunting in 2nd place, still trying to chase down Robert Mileshka. Only 60 points back, which does sound like a lot, but when you consider the fact that there's just there's a 10-point separation between 1st and 2nd place, if Mileshka just have some bad races again, we're just entering the second half of the season with this race, a lot of bad things could go wrong. So, and if I'm not mistaken too, I believe Indianapolis is a double points race. Not sure if they changed it. I'll try to get that updated, that information updated for next week. In the past, it has been a double points race, so there's still points up to grab for Ike. He's still fairly close, but he needs to start finishing ahead of Mileshka. He needs to start closing that gap, if not by a lot, at least a little bit.
It's really unfortunate too, because Andreas Eich's been one of the fastest drivers in the series so far this season, and it shows on the stat line. He's been top 10 in every race ran so far. The only problem is in pretty much every one of those races, Robert Malechka's finished ahead of him. Malechka only has one more top 5 compared to Eich, but it's just a big points difference at the top of the field. So there's just not much else Eich can do other than just go and outrun Malechka at one point here. He has to figure out something else to do, whether it's pit strategy or just having more outright pace or being more aggressive than we've seen Eich in the past. He's got to really think of something here to get the 60-point gap down to nothing.
Yeah, and Christopher also as well. I had to mention him, 3rd place in the standings. He's not completely out of it, although he's 100 points back from Malechka, so a little bit of a bigger hole for the 13 to dig himself out of. Not completely out of the realm of possibility, though definitely needs to start getting the work done. Similar can be said for Andrew Wood. Trying to see if he's even on the ticker. I assumed he was. Seemed like he was racing today. There he is. I couldn't find him because he's at the top of at least the charts in this warm-up period here. And conveniently gets off the track just as I wanted to show his car on TV. Well, Andrew Wood, going to mention him in 4th place in the standings, 3 points back behind Stouffer, and even just behind them 8 points is Tony Schau. Now, will Tony decide to stay on the track here? If I can find him there, he is sitting in 6th place. Got to look at his machine.
Most recent winner last week at Kentucky.
Did really good, and I think, and from what I've been hearing from Andrew Wood, giving me some information, got to thank him again. Really awesome that he's taking the time out to give us more information to work with these drivers to see what they're dealing out there. He said that, I'm actually going to try to pull up his exact quote of what he sent me. Yeah, he said it seems like there's no real tire wear, so undercutting doesn't seem like it's going to be advantageous. And he said they're not sure what he said, by his words, not sure what the hell they did to this tire model on the short oval. So, yeah, he's saying that the traffic is going to be tough, which I think we kind of expected. You know, we saw something similar at Iowa. Passing not impossible. Took a while to get work with. But at least at Iowa, you had, well, not a lot, you had a little bit of banking to work with. And even at Twin Wing Rotigi, relatively flat track, but still some banking to work with. Here, not so much. I'm actually not sure what the official banking is. If Connor, if you could pull that up. It's not a lot. I know it's very small.
Yeah, it's a very small track indeed. And one thing, there's big different tracks. Obviously, Iowa has banking. You can sort of get a top line and a bottom line going there. And then in Twin Ring Motegi, you maybe don't have a lot of banking in most of those corners, but you have a lot of slipstream, long straightaways. You can make passes into corners potentially. This track, you don't have long straightaways, and the corners are very winding, very long, and very flat. So you really need to work over someone or just wait for a mistake to get by someone here. I think we're going to see a lot of struggling early in this first run here. Everyone just trying to jockey for position. This initial start could get crazy because it can get very wild because everyone pretty much knows that this is going to be your main shot that make up any sort of ground. Absolutely.
Let's go through your starting lineup real quick. Ray Kingsbury is starting on the pole. I feel like we haven't seen him too much at the front of the field, but I mean, he's done a pretty solid job to put that car in front. Let's see what he can do from that starting position. Next to him, Jason Brophy going to be lined up in the 8A in 2nd place. Moving on back one more row, Andrew Wood in the 64 is going to be lined up in 3rd. Next to him, Joshua Chin in the 93, making his first start this season. I'm pretty sure it's his first start this season. See what he can do from 4th place if he's got anything for the leaders.
We'll have to wait and see. All-time winningest driver, he's tied for the most wins. He can be the outright all-time wins leader if he can get it done today. Robert Malechka, the points leader by 59 over Andreas Eich in 5th, Jacob Oster 6th, and then row 4, David Adams and Pablo Diaz. And then rounding out the top 10, Alexander Van der Sant and Brian Carey.
Brian Carey, and then moving on back, we find Chris Kale, Alexis Newsom sharing row number 6, and behind them, Tony Schau and Andreas Eich, Tim Holgate, Wayne Hunter, Antonio Pinheiro, going to be starting in the 56th and 17th, Alexander Bull in 18th and the 12th, and then Doug South going to be lined up in 8th alongside Joe Branch. Look to get through the rest of the cars, but these pace laps go quick here. Only got one on tap here, and we're already getting the field ready to go green.
Have to wait and see here. It's going to be a big initial start for Kingsbury and Brophy. They're going to really have to fight to see who can get out first. It's going to be a big advantage.
Ace car going to make the left turn onto pit road. Very tight turn. And Kingsbury wasting no time at all. We are green here at Milwaukee. Lap number 1 complete. Jason Brophy, Ray Kingsbury already off to a really solid lead. Jason Brophy chasing him down, at least trying to, from that second spot.
He's having a really solid start already, getting to the lead. I have to think back. I don't know if he's made a start all season either. This could be a one-off for him as well. He was very dangerous on the ovals late last season, trying to reclaim that high intense speed that he had all of last year on the ovals.
You saw that dogfight between Paulo Diaz and that was Robert Malechka on the outside. Now Josh Chin trying to take, not Josh Chin, Alexander Van de Sant trying to take advantage on that inside lane, the purple and white car, trying to force Malechka out wide. So definitely want to be that car on the inside. Also thought I just heard someone scrape the wall in the back straight. I'm not sure who it was, but Malechka just trying to find a spot in lane. No one's giving him room.
Malechka got really close to the wall entering 3, but that was all just to maximize his cornering. He was able to work. He actually defended pretty well on the outside. Got back by Van der Sant, cleared him, surprising to me. Was able to make it work there. I don't know how much more we'll see on the outside as far as that as a passing lane, because there's really not much else up there.
Still more battling going on in further behind. Adriano Pinheiro duking out with David Adams side by side. Adams is going to have to yield one spot. Chris Kao thought like he was going to have a dive, or have a look at least. Couldn't quite get it done. For the most part, settle. Ooh, air car spinning up ahead, and in the wall it is Jacob Oster. And did he hit a few other people? I think he might have.
That was right in the middle of the pack. I would have been surprised if no one else did hit him. He's going to get it turned around here. See how much damage is done to that left front suspension. All on his own here.
Yeah, really all on his own. I guess set the car a little bit too loose. Wow, Brian Carey with and Andreas Ike, championship competitor Andreas Ike. Both of them, hats off to them. They did a fantastic job avoiding that. I couldn't believe how well they did. Let's see if we can get another view of TV3.
I don't know who got a better look at it, to be honest. Two drivers should have ran right into him. I don't know who got a better view, Carey or Ike.
Wow, both of them did a fantastic job. It's right on board here. We're going to go on Brian Carey first, then we'll see if we can switch back to Andreas Ike.
No. That's the last thing you want to see right in front of you.
Yeah, that's right on board. Let's take a look from Ike's point of view, man. That incredible wreck avoidance from both these guys. Wow.
Wow. My goodness.
And as you said, that happened midfield, mid-corner. The track is flat, so when tracks have the banking, you can kind of look up and to your left a little bit. You can kind of see what's happening ahead of you. Here you have to look dead to your left and hope that nothing's obstructing your vision. You'd be another car or something else, or some other part of the car. Both of those guys did an absolutely phenomenal job. I don't think that you could have avoided that any better than they did. I'm just amazed that they didn't get any wing damage, nothing they're able to roll on. Might need to change their racing overalls, though, because I would say so. That was a lot more closer for comfort than I think either would have liked.
Yeah, looking it up myself, I believe Milwaukee, maybe about 9 degrees of banking in the turns, only about 2.5 on the straight, so obviously not much. It's going to feel dead flat. It doesn't matter if it's a single digit or double digit. That low, it's going to be it's just going to feel flat. You don't even care if there's a number on it. Actually, one of the more surprising things, I don't even know if Oster has any suspension damage. It looked like he tapped the left front wing on the wall. He might be able to continue, easily with no damage, but obviously losing that much track position is crushing for a race this short.
Oh, absolutely. Dropping 21 spots, started in 6th. You can see there it's currently back in 27th. Had 28 cars start the race. Craig Forsyth, the first retirement, going to pull it off early. A few guys pitting. I was just looking at Charles Ante. A few guys pitting near the back of the field. Is going to move Charles Ante up 10 spots from starting dead last in 28th. So let's see how much forward progress 86 can make. But I guess that was a little bit of a warning from Jacob Oster. Don't set up your car too loose. That's typically the words to go by every single week. But everyone tries to push the limit just that much further, until the car bites, and then around you go. So we'll see what these other guys are going to do. Maybe make the car a little bit tighter after seeing Oster find the limit. Luckily, it didn't pay the price, at least just yet.
You'll have to wait and see. It looked like it might have been it seemed like he snapped loose maybe when he downshifted, but don't know for sure. We're going back green. Kingsbury's leading them down.
Indeed, and already going to get off and away. Green flag back in the air for these guys that already a jump from behind. See Pablo Diaz taking advantage of the restart, trying to get to the inside of Andrew Wood. Immediately gets on the curb, though. Car breaking a little bit loose. Here comes Wood back on the outside.
You got to be careful there. You do not want to hit that curb. It's so easy to just pretty much wreck yourself hitting that curb in an awkward manner. That could have been pretty bad. At the very least, he only lost the one spot back to Andrew Wood.
Taking a look at Pablo Diaz, currently have points leader Robert Mleczka in behind in the white and red car 91 machine, chasing him on down. But as you mentioned, yeah, in a stock car you can use that curb all day. Open wheel car, not so much. We've seen plenty of cars spin on it. Even Pablo Diaz threw the car in the corner, a little bit of brake and traction there. So these guys are running their setup still pretty loose. I guess not surprised you want the car to rotate as much as possible, but don't want it to be spinning out.
It's kind of the risk you have to take, though. If you're not almost wrecking loose in this car, you're probably not going to be very fast. You need that car to get maximum rotation. Even if the rear end feels like you never have control of it, you have to try it. And that's kind of the risk you have to take at a track like this. Trying to look back, looked like Adriano Pinheiro got that position from Alexis Newsom. Like, just sitting back there, lost a few spots on that restart back to 11th, had moved up, falling back now.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really easy, I should say, to lose positions on these restarts if you're not getting up to speed quick enough. Because although they are single file, so you're already starting in your lane. But if you don't get up to speed too quickly, if someone gets to your inside, you can be essentially what happens to guys in Martinsville in stock car racing. Someone gets to your inside, you just get kind of forced back in line as everyone's fairly close together at the restarts.
Now the top 5 or so have kind of broken away. Robert Mleczka, P6, kind of just sitting there, maybe waiting for everyone else to maybe drive their tires off and then try a late run charge. Alexander van der Sant trying to stay with him. Adriano Pinheiro leading the rest of them down.
Yeah, just saw a pass from him on Brian Carey, up 9 spots since the drop of the green flag. So really solid movement for him. Alexis Newsom also trying to make some moves, trying to have a look potentially at Brian Carey up ahead after just getting or working against...
spin in the back. Alexander Ball spinning away around, cautions out.
And already the second one of the day out of turn number 2. I guess we shouldn't be too surprised at this point. Looking to be the troublesome corner of the night. Let's take a look. Did he hit the curb? Car just kind of lost.
Someone hit him there. I think that was Doug South. I
think that was a look like his car. Right on both from the back. Yeah, just got on the throttle too early and the car got loose. And ooh, yeah, that's not good. You see, got some solid left rear suspension damage right on board with Doug South. See what he saw.
Oh, I think he got away with it because he's still rolling out there. I don't know how, but he might not have too much damage on that 8 car. Might have gotten a gift there. Oh.
Yeah, that's what Doug South saw. So his car, as you mentioned, I think mostly okay. I think he's just going to come down pit road since he's near the back of the field. Might as well, wouldn't hurt, just kind of get the car checked out. Do any repairs you need to do at this point, better than doing on the green flag. And there you can see Alexander Ball's car without the rear wing and with suspension damage. So he towed back to pit lane. Gonna see how much he can get that car fixed up again. Looking back at our leaders, no real change in the entire top 17 yet to pit. Shouldn't be too surprised, really. No real reason to pit at this point. These guys can go about 51, 55 laps on a tank of gas. So shouldn't expect any pit stops at this point. And we were talking about it too at the top of the show. The track position is really important. So if you're going to pit now, you're putting yourself back in a lot of traffic.
Aaron Roofs has stopped in turn 1. Not sure what for.
Really?
Kind of just sitting in the middle of the groove.
Oh, there he goes.
Perfect timing.
Might have had an issue. I think also, let's see, is there a pit exit cone here? Oh, there is. Yeah, you just passed it.
I believe there is.
Might have a penalty coming his way. Usually the admins are pretty forgiving with that, so I wouldn't be surprised if he got that clear. But he did exit the pits unsafely, so hopefully for his sake he'll get it cleared.
Might have been a hardware issue. I would have to think.
Probably might have needed to just readjust his seat or reset something. You know, sim racer things.
Yeah, this is not a track you want to drive uncomfortably at. I would think.
No, not at all. One of those things, typically race car drivers don't just stop on the track and adjust their seat.
Well, it happens in real life, obviously. I've always seen that. Of course.
We'll see what happens, though, here with Kingsbury leading him down. No one able to touch him so far. Brophy and Chin waiting their wings to see what can happen. Pace car off again. Restart him again one more time. Here we go, back green, already in the background. I can see Pablo Diaz trying to take advantage. This time, going to be at a disadvantage. Mleczka the one working around the outside. 3 wide into turn 1, contact. At least a little bit of contact between, I think that was Van de Sant touching the wing of someone else. And here we go, almost 3 wide again. Pinheiro making a big dive into turn 3.
Yeah, that was a big dive. That was Pablo Diaz getting his front wing chopped off by Andrew Wood. A little bit of contact, not really too much damage, but that could have been very costly for all those drivers if things went a different way.
Oh, and getting, you see Diaz getting awfully close to the rear wing. Malechki, you gotta be very careful with that. If he gets off the gas avoiding a car bed, it can be disaster. And here comes Van de Sant working on the inside.
Battle for the lead. Jason Brophy under Ray Kingsbury.
How about this? Where did this come from? This is a big surprise in attack. Sure, Kingsbury is also just as surprised as Brophy going to try to hold it down on the inside, trying to block the lane. Almost throw Kingsbury into the wall, but Brophy going to wrestle the lead away.
Like Kingsbury missed 3 and 4 the lap prior and just gave Brophy the bottom. That was I don't know if that was a mistake or the line Kingsbury wanted, but that's going to be costly this early in the race. Even though it's this early in the race, you do not want to lose that lead like that.
Yeah, you saw was stuck on the outside lane, and again, the lane you don't want to be in. So Kingsbury now on the attack, trying to chase that position back. Taking a look at Josh Shin here, also trying to pursue these 2 guys up ahead. So essentially 3-car break, a little bit of a 3-car breakaway up in near the front.
Jason Brophy, the most recent winner at the Milwaukee Mile. I don't think they came here last season. It was the season prior. Pablo Diaz has just abruptly alt F4. Don't know if he hit the wall or what, but he will retire early for whatever reason. But Brophy, the defending winner here, that's a big move.
I think I might have just seen him slow on the apron.
Oh, spin, backstretch, cautions out. It's Alexander Ball and Matt Huston. Alexander Ball, I think he just came out of the pits.
Oh, this was the car. I saw some car on the apron. I thought it was Pablo Diaz. I was going to take a look and see what happened back there. So this is him. Mentioned coming out of the pits. Oh, that is awful.
Goodness. Oh, someone else got collected there as well. Oh, it's just Alexander. It is not your night, to say the least.
That was that. I think that that's pretty much what you call horrible timing. Was that Pinheiro? Who was that spun out?
I don't think that was Pinheiro.
Oh, it was Matt Houston in the number 66. So this is him coming through turn 2. And it's a little bit loose. You can see Ball trying to stay out of the way. And then Wayne Hunter, too, also got to take a look at another innocent victim in all this, minding his own business.
The luck does not get worse than that for both those guys. And he actually didn't hit the inside wall somehow, a decent save. But I don't even know if he got damaged somehow, but I don't think the luck can get any worse for Alexander Ball right there.
No, I don't think it can. Some guys coming down pit lane as well. Let's see, Wayne Hunter did not come down this time by Ray Kingsbury coming down. This is bold move. Gonna surrender second place and come on down to pit lane. Other notables, Tony Schowen, Chris Cahill, Christopher, all surrendering their running spots to come down pit lanes. A bit surprising to see the number 25 down. Would have thought he may have wanted to stay out a little bit longer. How about Jacob Oster spinning out, causing the first caution, already back up into 11th.
Yeah, that's a good run for him as well. I think Wayne Hunter did pit that time, but it is interesting. That's a bold move for Kingsbury to make right there. I think, obviously he realized he lost the lead, and I can only imagine the only thing he thought he could do to maybe go back for the lead is going on an alternate strategy. More fuel in the cars, we can go longer if they get a long run. That's a big if we get a long run. Already 3 yellows, 25 laps in.
Also, let's take a note, too, at the weather. Pretty hot out there on the track. I think it was 116, just ticked down to 115. So it is pretty hot out there. I guess this is the reason why the track is so slick. We're seeing guys spin out, especially out of turn number 2. So big trouble again. Seems to be the big trouble spot for night, and I guess that's part of the reason why. Track hot and slippery.
Hot, slippery, and no banking. That's going to make for a not so fun time if you're not the leader.
Yeah, I'm sure Jason Brophy, happy man, sitting up there in the top spot. Trying to wonder when was his last win. I'm going to do some quick research on that.
2 career wins for him, I believe.
Let's see here. Last win for Mr. Brophy was...
I think it was here at Milwaukee, actually.
It was, you're right. It was 2 years ago. Almost to the day, actually. His last win was February 23rd, 2020. So it's been almost exactly 2 years since his last win in the series. Well, what a better time to throw it around than right here. We're back at the track where he did it 2 years ago. Let's see, maybe if he can do it again. Still got a lot of racing left. Still got over 130 laps left to go. So it's a tall last, especially with Joshua Chin breathing down his neck, and Chin, no stranger to victory lane. So we'll see how it's gonna fare up in the front. And even too, you gotta mention Andrew Wood, Malechka also winning the ring. So very stacked top four. Brophy's got a lot of work on his hands here.
Got one of the best drivers in this series all time. Also a two-time winner at Milwaukee Mile, Chin is. Andrew Wood, who's always so fast here. And Malechka, obviously the points leader. This is not going to be easy for Brophy by any means.
Here they go, all lined up on the outside, ducks in a row. And immediately we're going to see Jason Brophy get back on the throttle. We're back green, Chin in behind, trying to chase him down.
See how everyone gets through this initial restart here. It seems like the biggest risk at another yellow is always when we're so packed up like this. Not so surprised. Here goes Van der Sant with a move under Malechka.
Indeed, already not wasting any time. Everyone knows this is now the time to strike. And also leading to some cautions too, but Van der Sant making a move to the inside for fourth place. Gonna be a drag race on the front straightaway now. I don't think much can really do much than yield. He's gonna also try to cut off Pinheiro, who's also having a cheeky little look in behind. Couldn't quite get it done. A little bit of a dive, trying to box Muchka in. Maybe no, decides not to.
Been a great run for Pinheiro so far. Up 11 spots, 17th to 6th. No pit stop either there. It's only gained really one spot from pit stops with Kingsbury, so it's been an impressive drive. Dives to the inside again, trying to maybe slide up in front of Malechka. He's going to be able to do that quite easily. That 56 is on a rail right now.
Yeah, great job. Great move done. Malechka trying to get some sort of slipstream by turn 3. Ooh, a little bit of contact with Pinheiro in the wall. Going to be a little bit wide, but it's not enough for Malechka to try to have a look up the inside. Looks like might have been just Netcody's going to get away with it, but great racing from the 56 to muscle way on past. He's not done yet. He's hounding the back of the 97 of Van der Sant.
No, behind them, Brian Carey, Andreas Ike battling. Ike is trying to gain anytime he can right now, trying to get to the front to chase down Malechka. He sees Malechka struggling. Could be an opportunity. He needs to take any opportunity he can get to get back into this points fight, but he just can't get around the 79.
Yeah, you saw there Carey able to use the run on that outside lane to work his way past. Ike just struggling to get the car to rotate in the middle of the corner, especially stuck on that bottom lane. He's going to have to try again. Looks like got a car to try again. Here comes Pinheiro. Man is on a roll, wasting no time to get his car to the front. Side by side with Van der Sant.
Looking really strong right now. He's one of the best drivers getting off the corners, even though he's under someone trying to make these moves. It seems like he just gets such a better exit compared to everyone around him, and it's paying off. It's gotten him all the way up to the top 4.
Trying to look around the outside, but can't find any sort of lane. Pinheiro going to muscle his way past, up into 4th, and that battling they spent lost about 2 seconds to the next car, Andrew Wood, sitting in 2nd place. Joshua Chin, and then Jason Brophy up in the front 3-car breakaway.
Could be good for Pinheiro, though. He's going to have a lot of clean air to work with. 2 seconds up there, Andrew Wood, so he can kind of maybe pace his tires a little bit better than Wood will be able to, just because of that clean air advantage.
Taking a look a little bit further back, the battle still brewing between Andreas Ike and Brian Carey, battle for 8th place. Ike moving up 5 spots since the drop of the green flag, so trying to work his way on forward. Remember, we were talking about it. He needs to start beating Malechka, who is currently 3 places up ahead. Ike with a fantastic run off the corner. There he goes to have a look on the inside of 3.
It's a pretty big dive, just not able to carry it through center as well as Carey can.
Yeah, he's just entering. I feel like he's entering too low. He's giving a little bit too much room on the entry, trying to make sure he doesn't make any contact, and you know that's definitely the big part of IndyCar racing. But he's getting a little bit too much room. He's really ruining his run into the corner by diving in so low. But you know, just trying to make a move happen without taking himself out, because you know, the all for naught, he pushed so hard he ended up wrecking the car out.
Yeah, he's got to be careful, of course, a little bit at this stage, but you can't be held back behind someone forever, especially at a track like this. You just lose way too much time. Trying to look back through the order, trying to look at Ray Kingsbury specifically. He's up to 13th, trying to check where he restarted, but he's got a lot of work to do to make up for the ground that for the position he put himself in.
Yeah, put himself. I mean, this is where the strategy gets interesting. He's had quite a few cautions so far this race. In fact, we'll take a look. We've had exactly 3 cautions so far in the first 30 or so laps. So he's put himself on a different strategy. This could benefit him or could hurt him. We don't know. It depends on, if we go green the rest of the way, if a caution comes out in an opportune time. But, he's has to, I guess, commit to the strategy or at least try to work his way back. Trying to work side by side now with Evan Adams, battle for 12th.
Restarted 17th. This will put him up to 12th, so 5 plus 5 positions.
That's really good.
In about 10 or so laps. They have to make up a lot more, though. He's about 9.2 seconds behind Jason Brophy. And while he's battling, trying to get those positions back, and Jason Brophy's in clean air, that gap's just going to expand. And
not for too long, you can see off in the distance, he's only about a straightaway behind from the back cars. And again, this track is fairly small, only 22 seconds a lap and a mile in length, so you're going to catch the lap cars fairly quickly. So not too long before Brophy's stuck back in dirty air. I'm sure that's when Ching's definitely going to be waiting to lick his chops and have a chance, because he can't really do much when he's stuck in dirty air. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's how the last Milwaukee race was too. Leader kind of just stretched his way out until they caught traffic, and then things got a little spicier, a little bit more interesting.
Everyone's starting to spread out. We've finally gotten a little bit of a run long enough to see drivers sort of spread out from one another. The real close battle right now is still Brian Carey, Andreas Ike, but Ike just still can't find a way to get around, can't go high, nothing up there, can't go low, there's dirty air there. Then we got Evan Adams, David Adams battling each other from the 13th position.
And take a look at Andreas Ike still working back for 8th. They mentioned both the Adams duking it out. Adams versus Adams. It's going to be Adams that wins. It's going to be David ahead of Evan. And he'll take that spot away. David Adams, I don't want to jinx him having a little bit more luck his way. The start of the season was not the best, but starting to get some really solid finishes. And I say that he got very close to the wall off it too there. But currently running in 13th, started in 7th, so he's got to work his way a little bit back. He's yet to make a pit stop. So on same strategy as the leaders. You can see Ray Kingsbury just ahead of him.
Another person who could use some luck on their side is Alexis Newsome. Last week, looked like she had it in the bag. Definitely one of the top 3 cars the entire race. Caught out by pit strategy, a yellow right after her pit stop. Put her back to finishing 12th after leading almost the most laps. Needs something to go her way tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. So far, so good. Starting 12th up into 7th, so it's been a slow climb, but a solid climb forward for Newsome. We'll see what she can do from that 7th place. Not sure how much forward she's going to go from here. Got a little bit of a gap, about a second back to Robert Malechka. Didn't come in guns blazing this race. Started 5th, running 6th, lost some position. So we'll see what see how he's gonna fare back in the middle here. Kind of no man's land too. 2 seconds behind Van de Sant and a second ahead of Newsome, so no one really around him at the moment.
Joyce Ike's finally made that pass on Brian Carey. Carey a little wide through 3 and 4. Ike finally able to get that position up in the 8th position.
Let's take a look back at what happened. This is a couple laps in the making. Drag race down into turn number 3. As mentioned, Carey off lane. A little more off lane than he normally was, and Ike just able to finally get clear and break away from the 79. Now can set his sights ahead for Alexis Newsome. Going to be his next target.
Also looking at the lead, Brophy starting to pass some lap cars. Marshall Stanley just let the leaders by, mainly the top 3. Dan Ench next on the list for Brophy. And Joshua Chin has not really lost any ground, sort of been steady 6 to 7 tenths behind the leader in Brophy. And the more lap traffic that 88 machine gets to, the closer that gap is likely going to close.
Kingsbury and Antti fighting side by side. Antti going to try to poke a nose ahead in turn 3, but Kingsbury's got the preferred lane and a man on a mission. And he's going to work his way on by into 11th.
11th on track, about 12 seconds behind Brophy now. The gap
that's a lot, though.
Yeah.
It's half a lap.
It is half a lap. It's not going to be too long before he sees Brophy exiting turn 2 as he's entering turn 3. Kingsbury really got held up by Antti there. Antti was doing anything wrong, just it took him a while to complete that pass, and as the tires get older, it's just going to get harder and harder to complete those passes. Next on his list is Jacob Oster, another guy who's had to recover from being at the back. He's all the way back up to 10th.
As I said, this is a pretty solid recovery for Oster, all things considered. The fact that spin in most cases, in most races, would have been race-ending, almost a career-ending injury to his car. Race-ending injury to his car. So the fact that he's found himself back inside the top 10 this early on is pretty impressive. Still, again, some work needs to be done to get himself quite back where he was back in 6th, especially with now with the field spread out. But working his way forward, although now, as you mentioned, Ray Kingsbury going to try to put him back one spot as he's catching him in a hurry.
We said the pit window was 51 to 55 laps. The leaders haven't pit yet, albeit they've had 3 yellow flags to save fuel, so that fuel window is going to expand at least a little bit. Maybe we'll see drivers try to stretch out to lap 60, but for Brophy, Joshua Chin, Andrew Wood, and others, it shouldn't be too long now before we see them on pit road.
Yeah, they still got, what, 110 laps to go on a tank, so you're going to have to make 2 stops from here, no matter what. So the fuel window is open in that respect. I think they're just going to try to run the tank out as much as possible. Although with the amount of traffic Brophy's got ahead of him, I would maybe consider pitting just to get out of the traffic.
This is where those pit stops by Kingsbury and others are going to come into play. If Brophy and Chin have to make 2 more pit stops, it's very likely Kingsbury only has to make maybe potentially 1 more. He's going to be able to go about 20, 30 laps further.
Oh, yeah, that is true. And this is kind of where you have to hope the timing works out. That's something graphic I want to show. You have to kind of just hope the timing works out with that. So that's the big thing this strategy kind of relies on. So he's going to have to pit in, what, about 20 laps time? It'll be lap 75. And with that, he'll have about 85 laps to go. So it's going to be close.
It is going to be close for sure. I'm trying to look at the top 2 leaders right now. They're getting closer to one another. Brophy, Holgate, and Joshua Chin, 3 Milwaukee winners right next to each other. Holgate getting lapped at P20, a rough night. Really starting to get in the meat of lap traffic. Chris Stouffer getting lapped. He's 19th. Holgate passes him for that position as Chin and Brophy still trying to navigate through these guys.
Yeah, we're talking about Chris Stouffer, 3rd in the standings, just not having a good night. We're talking about how important qualifying was, and it definitely you're starting to see here, starting 22nd up to 20th. Not the entire picture, though. He is on the same strategy as Ray Kingsbury, so he's going to be going a little bit longer on the fuel. So I think that's also part of the reason why he's been kind of stuck back in the back. So we'll see. Hopefully things can go better, but not the best situation being 1 lap down.
And just not showing the pace that Kingsbury has. Kingsbury's actually stabilized that gap to Jason Brophy to 11 seconds, so he's putting up pretty good times. He's actually up to 10th. I think maybe someone pit. Did not see him pass Jacob Oster, but he did get by Oster. And meanwhile, Stouffer just has nothing. Getting lapped, really no pace. Maybe 7, 8 tenths off the pace. Has very, very badly missed the setup tonight.
He just lets him he passed another competitor. That's Chris Cahill this time. Oh, and Joe Branch, 4 wide for a second off of turn number 2. What happened there?
That was a slide and a half. Been starting to see drivers slide on this long run here.
Right on board, see the hand inputs from Joe Branch here. Going to see him put some right wheel in it. Oh, yeah. Great car control there.
That was a close one. Starting to see some pit stops. David Adams has stopped. Have not seen anyone else come down to stop quite yet. Look how much that lap traffic put a distance on the rest of the field. Brophy and Chin got through it quite nicely. Andrew Wood sort of got stacked up there. He's 3.3 seconds back, and Aero's really closed in on him.
Man is on fire. Great if a caution comes out of what we can see from him, because that car just looks dialed in at the moment. Started back in 17, he's up into 4th. It's kind of amazing because, you know, the qualifying pace wasn't there. Race pace absolutely there, and he's on a mission to the front. Just doesn't have the track position at the moment. 4 seconds behind that he's gonna have to make up at some point, but not completely out of the realm of possibility as long as you get some good lap times and also gets through the lap traffic quickly enough.
As long as he can do that, he's definitely still going to have a shot. Just has to get by Andrew Wood first. He's been behind Wood for the entire run. Just got into his slipstream and dirty air just now, so see if he can do anything. And actually, no, he's going to pull a strategy move. He's going to undercut. We said undercuts might not work, but he's going to try it. Alexander Vandersand's going to come down with him.
And so a lot more of the leaders starting to come on down, pretty much under green flag pit stops at the moment. You see who's going to bite the bait. And some other drivers itching to get their way on down. Brophy, Chin gonna ignore this time by. Does Wood try to cover it? Remember, he was the one that was saying undercut not worth a whole lot. It's not worth a whole lot just on raw pace by yourself, but I think when it comes to navigating through some traffic, definitely gonna be a big factor. But Wood gonna stay out another lap. Newsom gonna elect to come down pit lane by her lonesome, so a slow trickle of the leaders coming in.
Evan Adams comes down as well. Leaders back by. No one bites. Everyone else coming through. Pinheiro stays out. Robert Malechka, the points leader, will come in.
You see, he can do a little bit of lockup on the brakes as well. Brian Carey going to be coming in, surrendering. I think was running in around 6th or 7th place. Going to come on down for his service.
Here come the leaders.
Jason Brophy and Chin coming down. Interesting. Would have thought maybe one of them would have liked to stay out another lap or so, just to maybe, again, just get a little bit more clean air and doesn't really hurt. But in they go to their box. They see Brian Carey coming out. When's Andrew Wood going to come on down? Imagine just going to try to run the tank out.
Charles Ante came down that time as well. Here comes Andrew Wood.
Yeah, Ray Kingsbury, I think, should be inheriting the lead. Not sure. I don't think this time by as Andreas Ike still out on the track. And both of these guys racing for position here. That just shows you how quickly Kingsbury's flown through the field.
This could be a completely different strategy, completely different race if Kingsbury hadn't lost the lead. If he doesn't lose the lead, he likely doesn't pit under that yellow.
I guess it worked out in the end for the most part as Andreas Ike comes in. Ray Kingsbury, your new race leader, at least for the next 10 laps or so. Then he's going to have to come on down. Ooh, see car smoking a little bit sideways.
That's Vandersand. That was the pits, I believe. That was Vandersand. Or no, that was not out of the pits. He was on track. And he slid. Wow, what a save.
Bit surprising considering this is new rubber. I guess the lack of air on the nose, right in behind the wake of another driver. Not a lot of air going to that nose, but a little bit of a slide. No harm, no foul, though tire's going to be a little bit worn. Almost hits the rear wing of that competitor up ahead. I think that is that Marshall Stanley? That is not Marshall Stanley.
Could not check who that was.
Dan Inch.
Yes.
Currently running 14th after starting 25th, so having a solid day in the 52 machine. He's on the alternate strategy, I guess, at this point, with everyone else that has yet to pit, that pit under caution. Ray Kingsbury, followed by Jacob Oster, Tony Schowen, and then Jason Brophy.
Yeah, out of the drivers who have tried this strategy, it's, you know, Ray Kingsbury is much further ahead than pretty much everyone else on this strategy. Had a bit of a slide. Joshua Chin actually almost spun off of turn number 2 the last time by. Not sure what happened, but he lost a lot of ground.
Take a look at what happened to him. Again, turn 2, everyone's bane. Whoa!
Whoa! Wow! Another save.
That's right on board with him right here. I saw him clip curve here. That kind of threw him a little bit off, but then it was a lot worse more on the exit.
I think a part of that was maybe he didn't want to really, he was catching Evan Adams in a maybe bad spot, didn't really want to risk hitting him, maybe lifted, shifted the balance a little bit, and almost costed him a car. Yeah, well, the track is actually getting a little bit cooler, so it's getting a little better. I'm sure the drivers probably feel exactly the same, but math is showing that it's improving. I think 113 is still going to feel like absolute lava for these tires.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's better than 150, that one fuel race we did at Charlotte once. I'm not sure. I think I might have did that race with you, actually. This fuel race is 150 degrees on the track.
It was pretty. That's kind of unheard of, especially for Charlotte. I had never seen that track heat up like that.
I
Jacob
don't know.
Oster did.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Jacob Oster coming down to the pits. Yeah, I don't know what the updates they've done to the weather system to make it more realistic. I don't know if you can get something like that to occur again. Although there's definitely something to experience because they were sliding all around that day. Oster off and away, again trying to recover from his spin early on. More or less you can say he's kind of recovered. Just a matter of gaining a few more spots to really be kind of net even with where he started after starting the race in 6th place. He'll roll off of pit road, be 18th, 1 lap down, but again, off sequence for the 09. Let's take a look at him too. So at this point, 75 laps in. just shy of halfway. Got 80 laps to go, so should have only one more pit stop to make. Meanwhile, some of these other guys who have been out here, let's take a look. Where's Jason Brophy? Been out here 10 laps. I think they actually should also be good on one more tank.
Kind of surprising. Kingsbury's not really that much slower than Brophy either. We said the undercut, we were told the undercut wasn't going to really help too much, and it's sort of showing true here. Kingsbury's going to be a little slower. He's behind a few cars and one car and Chris Stouffer, but Brophy's really not that much faster. The gap is still about 13 seconds.
Maintaining the gap well, and really it is going to come down, as mentioned, to a lot of traffic, especially with guys, fighting the leader more, trying to keep and stay on the lead lap as long as possible, just kind of hoping a caution comes out so they can get bunched back up and not be put a lap down. But here comes Kingsbury with a solid run off the corner. It's going to be Chris Stouffer getting put a lap down again after he got put down a lap earlier. Now Kingsbury's going to go and lapping him.
And Stouffer going one down, I believe.
Yeah.
Stouffer's 8th and put 7 on the lead lap. Tim Holgate, 2-time winner here, just.
Oh, and Stouffer's actually going to go probably another lap now because he's actually due to pit. In fact, most of the guys up in the front are just about due to pit. Gone 55 laps on a stint. So they're going to be dying to come down a pit lane anytime soon.
Doug South just came off a pit lane on the same strategy. He rejoins safely. See how long Kingsbury carries this out. Got to, use as much of the fuel as you can just to ensure that you might have a chance at making this a one-stop race, while everyone else still might have to do a two-stop. Joe Branch exiting the pits now.
Yeah, I thought I saw him slowing off the pace. I guess that explains why.
Whoa. Kingsbury is driving that thing. I don't know if you saw how sideways he got off of 4.
Take a look at it here.
He's not.
Yeah, that's.
He ain't conserving.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, I don't blame him. Might as well. You're on the end of the run. Get everything you can out of it. Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something you don't really want to do near the wall.
No, not at all.
Especially in IndyCar. We were talking about it. We were last week, Saturday, with the stock cars at Homestead. That's a little bit more fun. You got a little more play with it. Here, as soon as you do that, the tires are going to grip, and you're going to find that wall within a millisecond. So.
Yeah, Ray Kingsbury's pitting this time. But yeah, we were talking about it. Homestead Miami Speedway is pretty much made for sliding with the banking. This is not a track you want to slide at because you're likely going hard into that outside wall. It's hard to catch these things. You have no idea how impressive it is for Kingsbury to save that, along with the other save we've seen from Joshua Chin and all the other drivers we've seen slide today. Chris Cahill came in with him.
Jason Brophy with this is going to pass Ray Kingsbury down in pit lane and re-inherit the lead. Kingsbury going to be on the jacks and off of them again. And he goes off and away to resume his race. Only going to be back in 6th, maybe 7th or 8th here, as Van de Sande races his way on by, trying to get the car back up to speed. Robert Malechka going to be racing around the corner. Can he get past Kingsbury? Doesn't look like he can. So Kingsbury up in 8th. I mean, regardless of what you want to say about that being put back, he's done pretty well. Considering the fact he was in the lead, though, or in 2nd place, I should say, not exactly sure if this was the best.
To be fair, though, he did gain a lot of time going longer. Before Robert Malechka pit, I'm trying to look here at what it was like, because I think Malechka was multiple seconds in front of Ray Kingsbury, and Kingsbury just came out ahead of him easily. So that overcut with that different fuel strategy, it really paid off position-wise.
It definitely did. Big thing, though, is will he be catching the leaders? I think he'll probably finish top 5. I mean, I would say almost guaranteed to finish top 5 at the pace he's going at. It's 2 seconds back from Van de Sande. But, again, considering the fact he was in 2nd place, had he not done that, he would have, most more likely not been sitting 2nd or 3rd. In the end, did it kind of work out? Not particularly. We'll have to see. Still some racing left to go. I'm guessing that he probably thought that maybe if he can be on an alternate pit strategy, he wouldn't be racing some guys, so he can just work around lap traffic and then continue at a blistering pace. I guess that's maybe his thought process, or maybe he was expecting more cautions to come out. But, could have been I've seen worse calls.
Yeah, he still has a chance
significantly worse calls.
Yeah, he could definitely still have a chance. He's likely, I wouldn't say likely, but he's definitely going to have a shot at getting to Alexander Vanderset for the 5th position. Adriano Pinheiro still, then he got him about maybe 5.5 seconds up from Vandersant, so it's going to be a bit more difficult to get that position. So this definitely could have worked out much worse.
There's the gap right there on screen visually. There's Van de Sande coming out of turn 2. There's Pinheiro entering, exiting turn 4. Looking at Andrew Wood in 3rd place. Joshua Chin, Jason Brophy. Your race leader at the moment. 3.7 seconds clear of Joshua Chin, so did some work. Well, we're not really looking at them and kind of taking a look at everyone else. Did some work to get himself separated from Joshua Chin, so he's got a pretty comfortable gap to deal with. No immediate threats. Andrew Wood sitting 1.9 seconds behind them in the top 3, and really his biggest concern is Adriano Pinheiro. He's kind of slowed down his charge. He wasn't charging as much. I guess there really aren't too many cars to charge through left. But definitely a lot better on the short run, it seems, but not too shabby in the long runs either in that 56.
Oh, he's been strong the entire run. It maybe stalled out a little bit on the long run, but he still has very impressive pace. And that slide by Chin behind Evan Adams has been the real costly, I wouldn't say mistake, but just a little bit of a slide can do that here. He was, before the pit stops, under a second behind Jason Brophy, and that slide cost him about 3 seconds, and he just hasn't had the pace to catch back up. He's been losing a tenth each and every lap. Those tires, you slide them that early, you're really never going to get them back.
And easily one of the biggest movers of the race started, a little bit, started back in 17th up into 4th. Now, I don't know why every single time he comes out of turn number 3, I hear the crunching of bodywork, because he's getting so close to the wall on entry. Every single time in the last few laps I watched him come through there, I've heard that sound. So he's definitely pushed in the limits here.
Yeah, it's hard to net code the wall, but that's what he's been doing. But that's how hard he's pushing to maximizing his entry.
Speaking of which, look who's already caught the back of the 97, Ray Kingsbury. Trying to get around, side by side, that is with Tony Schowen.
It's not for position.
Yeah, Schowen lap down in 14th. As Kingsbury works his way on by, and now Kingsbury going to focus just ahead. The Van de Sande battle for 5th place.
Oh, caution!
Ooh.
It's Jacob Oster again.
Oh, this time it looks like it's not going to be one he can walk away from, at least to get back in the race.
That's
Take a look at what happened to him off in turn 1. Ooh, I see Chris Cahill to his inside. Was there contact here? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't even for position. Oster's 10th place on the lead lap, and Chris Cahill is 19th, a lap down.
Let's see here, Brian Carey. Yeah, Brian Carey, I think, got a decent view of this.
We'll see. Yeah, Cahill didn't really make the corner, and that's a tough pill to swallow for Oster when a lap car you just passed kind of just took you out. Not intentionally by any means, but it's never gonna put a good taste in your mouth. It kind of just crosses him over and goes to pass the car on the lead lap and just gets into him.
And a hard hit for Oster into the outside wall may bring an early end to his day, if not going to be a major setback for the rest of this evening, especially considering everything was starting to turn around for him until he went flying into the wall. That's going to, again, bring an interesting bit of strategy. Everyone going to come on down, so more or less going to reset everyone pit-wise. Not going to have any change. Do a puff of smoke from Brophy. Did he miss his stall? No, it looks like he didn't. Maybe I think it was just braking for him. So he's off and away. Josh Chin going to be in 2nd. Andrew Wood. Van de Sande Pinheiro. Van de Sande actually got ahead of Pinheiro. Pinheiro going to have to surrender a spot. And then Ray Kingsbury back in 6th, Malechka 7th, Newsom in 8th, Ike 9th, and Brian Carey didn't pit at all? Oh, wait, sorry, he was a lap down. Never mind.
He was a lap down as well. On one hand, first bad thing for Ray Kingsbury, the strategy doesn't work out. He ends up losing 4 positions for pitting. And the next bad thing, he just got busted for speeding. So he's going to go all the way back to where he started on that last run, I believe. But also, it's not going to be too bad. He's not going to lose all those positions, but he's going to be at the tail end behind all the lap cars.
And Carey electing not to come down to the pits. A few others also not electing to come on down. Tony Schowen, one of them. He only came in 10, 13 laps ago, so he's going to be good. Same thing, Tim Holgate, Chris Stouffer, Chris Cahill, who we saw involved in the last incident, all going to stay out, elect to get their laps back. Guys who are in the danger zone a little bit with this are Adams and Carey, who are 30 laps in on their run. They're going to have to come in another 20. So they're going to be just kind of hoping that another caution comes out. And actually, I should say, actually, here's the thing. Here's the thing with this pit stop. We're going to have to see. This is going to be a fuel mileage race.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Ray Kingsbury speeding. Maybe it'll help him. He gets the top off for fuel. It's going to be tight because even with all those caution laps that Jason Brophy and the leaders who hadn't pit got, the farthest we saw Brophy goes to about lap 65. There were drivers that stretched it further than that, I believe, but this is still going to be a long stretch if it goes green to the end.
Taking a look at the race so far, just over 60 laps to go. See the wave rounds taking their wave by on the bottom. 4 cautions for 13 laps, actually now 14 laps as they cross the line. 3 leaders and only 4 lead changes. But not a whole lot of action up in the front. Quite a bit of action midfield though, more so than I was expecting. So they've still been putting on a show for us. Yeah, I think it's only going to get more interesting here, especially now with this restart, bringing everyone back together. Remember, we were talking about what would happen on a restart. Adriano Pinheiro, he's got really quick on the short run. He's restarting 1 position down from where he's running, but he passed Van de Sant pretty quickly on the last restart, so I don't think it's going to be too crazy here to see him get past immediately again. Base car going to be off and away in just a little while. Jason Brophy going to be back in control of the field. This is going to start heating up, or maybe not. We'll see. It's going to be fuel saving mode for most of the field. As we go green, 61 laps left to go as we go back green here in Milwaukee.
That was sort of an interesting restart there. Chin was kind of holding up the rest of the field, laying back, trying to get a run on Brophy. Didn't work enough to get him a shot at the lead as everyone's trying to scramble for position.
Leaders off and away. Andrew Wood under attack from Van de Sant and Pinheiro, who's trying to get a lane to the outside. Going to be way out of the groove though. Can't quite hook it on the outside. Van de Sant, he actually does hook it on. Gets a run to boot as well. And Van de Sant going to just yield this spot. Doesn't even try to fight it off in turn 1.
They kind of just gave him the spot. Another battle. Ike trying to get by Alexis Newsome. They stay side by side. Ike going to have to send it into 3 to make sure he clears. Brian Carey, David Adams battle in the back. Everyone's frantically going for positions right now as the leader and Jason Brophy starts to pull away a little bit with Joshua Chin. Yeah,
it looks like Carey's going to get that spot away from Adams, but he has mentioned this when the intensity heats up on these restarts. You know, he had a really good shot. Everyone close and bunched up together. Chin, again, chasing down Jason Brophy, but doesn't look like he's got enough, at least at the moment.
Ooh. How about the 2 points leaders battling a little bit? Malechka, Ike gets by Malechka. Malechka might have actually tapped the wall on entry to 3. That didn't look like netcode that time.
Yeah, he got really close to the wall. Let's take a look back on the back straightaway here. These guys side by side here. Oh, yeah.
That was a hit. That was definitely a hit. Don't think there's too much damage, but that's the big point. You know, any damage can really hurt.
He's looking a little bit slow, I'm not going to lie. And I'm not sure this is him just kind of trying to get his bearings back. You get back going in the right direction, but losing some time to Ike. And really nothing less damage probably to the wings. I think his wings are fine. I guess the big thing will be to look. See if he can try to take a look at when the car turns back around. If he's got any damage to that side pod or the floor, that's really going to affect you quite a bit.
Let me see it. Don't see too much. The floorboard looks decent. Maybe not too much damage. Maybe gotten away with him. But like you said, his pace has dropped. He was faster than Ike earlier in this race, and Newsome is all over him right now.
Yeah, Newsome trying to have a look. She takes a look to the inside of his nose, gets chopped off though, so Malechka just kind of trying to hold everyone up, but yeah, just not going in the right direction pace-wise at the moment. Ooh, and Newsome another big dive into turn 1. Malechka this time can't block it off.
Oh, you see what Newsome can do wrapping the bottom. They're going to stay side by side. Very good run for Newsome. You see Malechka gets a little bit of a run, but just nothing to defend with. Easy pass.
Easy pass for Newsome indeed. We'll see if this is going to be a trending issue. Is he going to slowly start falling back? Maybe he's got some damage that we can't see. The sim isn't bothering render, but it could be on his end. Charles anti-lap car in the middle of all of this, in behind, looking for a way on pass. Trying to find where he is. He's currently 1 lap down, sitting 16th, the first car a lap down. Doesn't really benefit him anyway, being that first car. Again, no lucky dog in IndyCar. But just trying to race his lap back. Has a look up the inside. Doesn't quite dive on the inside of Mleczko.
Back to the front, Pinheiro starts a charge yet again. Just got by Andrew Wood. Used the outside out of turn 4 to get the run on Wood. He was able to make it almost look too easy there. He's onto the podium.
Best we can take a look back at it because he's been an absolute wheelman this race so far. Oh, sorry, went one lap earlier, but just has a look to the outside here, going in turns 1 and 2.
Right here.
And you saw how well he just timed such a good run, uses it to the inside. Yeah, I'm glad we labeled him a threat on these restarts because he's doing a fantastic job out there. Now, let's see what he can do with the lead. I'm almost terrified to put this man in clean air.
Yeah,
if he's this quick in behind people, what's he going to do when he gets some clean air to his nose? That's going to be, he's going to run away from everyone.
It's going to be race over, that's what it's going to be. But he does have a lot of time to get that clean air. It's going to be about almost exactly 50 laps to go this time by, so he's got some work to do. He's still got 2 very fast drivers to get by. All the leaders, these top 4, still right on top of each other. Brophy, Chin, Pinheiro, and Wood pretty much flying away from Alexander Van der Stant and the rest of the field.
Also have to mention too, these guys are awfully close on the fuel limit. I mean, at the most it seemed like you could stretch it about 57, 58 laps if you're on super save mode. And that's, playing, and that's not just, lifting and coasting, that's playing with the fuel maps here. Again, unfortunately, with the way iRacing works, it doesn't transmit what fuel map these guys are, and just shows it as 0 on the cameras, unfortunately. Which is really, because you could really see how the strategy guys are playing with here, who is playing on strategy, but definitely Pinheiro's not saving any gas at all, I can tell you that. Jogging and weaving down the front straightaway, trying to one-up Josh Chin. But I'm curious of these guys, who is trying to save, or is everyone just going full beans?
I think everyone's going full beans at this point. I think there's a better shot they make it on fuel than they don't make it. But if they are short on fuel, the guy to watch is Ray Kingsbury. He sped, so he just took those opportunities to top off on fuel. He should have 2 laps more fuel than Brophy, Chin, and everyone else ahead of him. He's up to the 8th position, 7 seconds back.
But he sped on pit lane?
He did speed on pit lane.
Oh, I thought he just lost position on the restart. I didn't even realize he dropped back. I guess it wasn't too bad this time. I think he dropped back to like 13, 14?
13th or 14th, but you do go behind all those lap cars, so he did have to carve through those, but still made up decent time. He's definitely P8 on the track, trying to get to the 63 of Newsom now.
I think for him, you're kind of hoping maybe another caution to stack them back up together, then he can really have a shot back at the front. But meanwhile, Pinheiro hounding the leader is again trying to force them into a mistake as the laps slowly start to wind down. It's about 45 laps to go in this one, all coming to a head here. 50 minutes left before the end of this race. It's going to end quickly.
Chris K-Hope hits, was already a lap down in the most recent crash. A little bit of damage to repair there. So trying to look through the field, getting to that point where everyone's starting to spread out from one another, a lot more single file, and Aero's still all over the 93 of Chin though. Yeah, Ben's didn't go and look at anything else because he's just been getting these fantastic runs off the corner, and unfortunately nowhere to go to the straightaway. If it was just a little bit longer, would have probably had a shot, but his car looks like he can run so well on the eggs of the corners and gets a run. I want to send that car to inspection because it's it's absolutely, the way he's able to follow these guys is phenomenal. It gets a little bit too hot off a turn 2 that allows Chin to open back up on the inside. I don't know how much Pinheiro is going to do to try to pinch him. Can he pinch Chin to the bottom? He can't. Going to do a crossover though. This is intense. Gonna try to slide up in 1 and 2 again. Slid a bit too much to let the 93 back under. Have to pin the bottom on exit to defend that 93's crossover. He's got a better shot at keeping the position this time, and I don't know if Chin's going to be able to make any sort of move.
I thought about it. Got the draft, couldn't quite get there in time, so he's going to have to settle for 3rd place. And now, if I'm Jason Brophy, I'm scared.
This is unheard of at a track like this. We've talked about it the entire race. Milwaukee Mile, hard to pass. You're going to see all the passing on the restarts. It's been the exact opposite for Adriano Pinheiro. He's been absolutely dominant getting through the field. He went 17th into about 6th place very early on. He's just been picking them off one by one every maybe like 10-15 laps or so. He's gotten all the way up to 2nd place. He just has one more position to cap off an incredible drive.
Absolutely. I think we don't award driver of the day on CTV. Actually, we should start doing that.
I'm awarding it to him. I don't care.
No, I'm going to suggest that to Kyle. But if we did, yes, I would absolutely award it to this man here. An absolutely phenomenal drive so far. Granted, one of the toughest drivers to pass with IndyCar racing like this is the leader because they got that clean air to work with. But tell us this man, he doesn't care because that car is just handling spectacularly in behind everyone else. And we were talking about it too. We were expecting this to be be difficult because it's a flat track. You need that Aero to turn, but regardless, this car is just carving through the air and behind it, and it's key because he's able to continue that run off the corner and then slipstream and get a run on entry. He's done a fantastic job here. You can see him just turning the car excellently on the exit, continues that run. Not going to have enough of a run this time, but oh boy, he's getting there. He's getting awfully close.
He almost did. He almost did have a run. Trying to look through the field, Kingsbury the best on fuel. He's up to 6th. He's actually gaining time. He's under 6 seconds compared to Jason Brophy. He's actually getting a lot of time. I don't think he'll get there if we go green, but he's still having a great charge right now.
Jason Brophy now looking in his mirror. Up ahead, some clean air, but in behind, a mirror full of orange from Piniero's machine.
It's almost not a matter of if he attempts to pass, but when. This car is just so strong through center. He's able to get back to the throttle much more confidently than Brophy, Chin, and everyone else in the field. That car is just on something tonight.
Ooh, Brian Carey, I thought it might have been an incident just down on pit lane, needs to pit.
That's the first lead lap driver I've seen pit. He was running 10th.
Yeah, and so he was actually, he was the wave around, remember?
Oh, yes, he was.
It was the way around, so he had pit a little bit early. I guess decided might as well come in earlier than later. We'll service this car, get back out on the track. Everyone else still rolling around here. 30 laps or so into their stint, maybe, I think probably around 25 laps into their stint. And taking a look, we got just about 34 laps to go. It's going to be close.
I keep not thinking Kingsbury can get up there, but he's been consistently a 10th faster. I still don't think the math is on his side, but if those two start battling, you just never know. That 25 is putting down great lap times.
If he didn't speed, I would say he's definitely had a shot at getting back there for the lead, but that speeding penalty probably ruined his night. Sorry, I should say at least a chance of getting a win. Still having a great night. Top 5 is nothing to be mad about. Probably going to be disappointed with the fact that he was qualified on pole, was up there, and then a pit call wasn't the ideal one. Put him a little bit further back in traffic than he would like.
Run for the lead. Here comes Pinheiro. Lap traffic. Dan Enchin away. Pinheiro has a shot here.
You saw Brophy go to the inside. Can't get back to the top to block. Pinheiro gonna do a slingshot on the outside.
Oh my goodness.
This man's passing where you shouldn't be able to pass. He doesn't care. New leader, Adriano Pinheiro off of turn number 4 will secure it and lead a lap.
I cannot believe that pass around the outside of the Milwaukee Mile of all places. That's unbelievable.
This is how he did it. Just rolling that top lane. Brophy struggling a little bit with understeer on the bottom from the lap car up ahead. Pinheiro rocket chip down the back straightaway, going to clear for position.
And all he needed was a lap car. We were obviously going to get the lap traffic by the end of this, no matter who it was. And Dan Ench provided the perfect opportunity for him to get a little bit of a run on that 88 just because of the 88 of Brophy just being a little bit hindered by that dirty air.
And he's still getting that little bump off of turn 3. He's really taking, he's on, I guess, the philosophy of he bought the racetrack, he's going to use all the racetrack. And I mean, well, it's working for him. Already off to a second lead. I'm kind of concerned here how far away he's going to break away from the rest of the pack. But these guys have got to find something. I think they got to just hope for a caution at this point and try to upset the order. Because I don't see a way of them just driving down to catch this man.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. They got to hope he's short on fuel, underfueled the car or something. We got to thank Adriano Pinheiro for not being good in qualifying because it's been a pleasure seeing him rip through the field. This is one of the greatest drives I've seen ever on iRacing. It is. You guys have no idea. Some of you viewers likely have no idea how difficult it is to make those passes. He almost threw it all away there behind the lap car of Doug South, but you have no idea how difficult it is to make up positions here. That is so impressive.
Oh. Yeah,
gotta pace yourself, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as you mentioned earlier, almost threw the race away there. But yeah, I don't know who builds the setups. If it's hit, oh, coming down into the pits. Interesting.
Wow. That is not what I expected. I thought he was running away. Is he not good on fuel? Did I jinx him right there?
I think I'm curious to see if it's going to be a splash and. No, he's hitting tires too, which is a little more surprising. I would have thought some of these guys would have just decided to do a splash and dash. If
Another
anything.
one's in. Another one is in. That's Tim Holgate.
Yeah, they were going to be close on it. Maybe looking to be a little bit more because maybe they're pushing more of this stint or whatnot. So Jason Brophy going to inherit the lead back again. Question is going to be, is he good on gas or not? I guess we're not surprised by Pinheiro, but anyone was not good on fuel.
I suppose it would have to be him,
yeah,
for sure. But
so,
with Brophy and Chin not coming down, I haven't really heard any like short shifting or anything like that. But obviously, we don't know the engine maps for these guys, so we'll see what these two can do. See how long they might go.
Oh, hear that? Riding on board with Brophy, he's clutching and coasting.
Ah, he is. Yep. So Joshua Chin's doing the same.
He's not.
He's actually very hard shifting down into third.
I think no, but I hear the engine struggling with the RPMs, so I think he's got it in a higher fuel map than Brophy. I think Brophy may have it in a faster fuel map, but it's clutching and coasting. So they are trying to save fuel. And in the back, I can see another orange. I can see the orange car approaching it again. This is now to unlap himself, put himself back in the lead lap. So he's just going full beans. Came into the pits. I am a bit surprised that he decided to take tires. I would have honestly thought he would have just come in, taken about a second of gas, because probably all he needed, and then get back out there. But he decided to take tires too, which could cost him. Don't think the tires are really worth a whole lot.
Yeah, we've seen it. There really hasn't been much fall off. The long run for Joshua Chin, his fastest lap was a 21.9. He really only fell off a few tenths, so it would have definitely likely been worth it to just take the fuel and probably stay on the lead lap with a good position. But now he's just going to have to go really hard. He's got to pass these two he just already passed. He's got to gain even more position.
And Andrew Wood also notably behind the leaders, and I think that's because he's just hang on, I want to hear here. Yeah, I think he's got the engine tuned down a little bit. Doesn't sound like it's going full bore. There's Ike also in behind. I think maybe on a similar strat. It doesn't even get up to 6th gear.
Not clutching though, I don't believe. Ray Kingsbury also fell off a lot. He was about within 5 seconds.
I think a lot of these guys are realizing maybe they need to save more than they thought so. So again, this is what we're talking about. It's going to be a fuel mileage race again, except for one man who just decided I'm not going to save any gas. I'm just going to run it out. I mean, might as well when you have the pace that his car, especially in dirty air, might as well go for it.
Yeah, he might as well. It shocked me when he pit. You said he was pitting. I was like, wait, what? I thought he was going to run away with it, but we'll see if this works out. I can't be fully sold on Brophy making it to the end with him clutching as hard as he is, especially if Ray Kingsbury's clutching. He pit 2 laps after Jason Brophy under yellow. It seems like he's backed off trying to maybe save something.
Did he actually come back into to service his car?
He did. Lap 99 of Ray Kingsbury came down. Lap 98
oh, right,
to 99
because he had the speeding penalty, right? So he just came in and topped off. Right.
And that's where I get concerned. If Kingsbury's trying to save something else, then you got those two at the front, Brophy and Chin. They have to save 2 laps more than him.
I was taking a look at what we're talking about there. 46 laps to go for Ray Kingsbury. Jason Brophy, 48. Okay, there's those other cautions, so there's not racing laps done, but still, every little, every 10th of a gallon is going to count here.
If Chin feels like he can go, then when does he make the decision to go? Because you can't just sit behind Brophy the rest of the race.
That's true, because if you oversave the guy in front of you, he's also going to save more than you, then he's going to be good. So you got to try and really just time when you're going to get the win here. Because, as you mentioned, Ginny's going to have to go at some point. Just a matter of when he's going to go. I mean, really, I guess you go as soon as you're good on fuel, right? Because you don't want to start going and then you're not good on fuel. So I think he's going to wait till he hits his magic number. and then he'll be good to the end. And we'll take a look here too at how the fuel, how slow these guys are going at the moment. Speeding up a little bit again, but they've been running in the low 22s. They've been running about maybe 3-4 tenths slower a lap the last couple of circuits. So it's come down, slow down a little bit here, trying to save enough gas. Brophy all over the back, and you can tell how much closer they go. Oh, look, he has a run. There comes Josh Shin. Guess now he's timed to go. Brophy saying, by all means, you go. Guess he does not have enough gas. And that makes sense, too, because Brophy was in the lead. You know, not that you would really get in behind someone to try to save at a track like this, but, you know, that slipstream, you can lift off and coast a little bit by the end of the straightaway and still keep a decent pace. So, looks like Chin's a little bit better on the gas. Brophy not really trying to catch him in this moment. I think he's trying to hang on, make sure he makes it to the end of the race.
Just, I think Matt Hollaba in chat was saying that, you know, like we talked about Jason Brophy's last win. It came here almost 2 years to the date. That was also on fuel mileage, so he's no stranger to having to save fuel here. That being said, he is back to the second position now, still saving. I think at this point it's all up to whether Joshua Chin can make it or not. Keep in mind, these are big stakes for Chin. He wins this race. He's the all-time winningest driver in Indy Elite history. He'd get number 11 to break that tie with Adam Blocker, so this would be huge for him.
Oh, I'm sure he's definitely going to want to break that. Not sure that he heard those words of encouragement, but he's out there, and we're getting close to it. These guys are approaching the upper limit of when we thought they could go again, still with some caution laps involved there, but they're getting really close. We're going to start seeing some guys maybe come in because they realize they didn't save enough, and some guys maybe just straight up run out of fuel. So it's going to get very interesting here in the next 10 laps. See who's got enough and who's got enough. Jason Brophy still falling off the pace, 1.3 seconds back now, just I think on his own map, just trying to save. Andreas Ike has worked his way up to third as Wood and Van de Sande were busy saving gas. They didn't have enough. Ike, I guess, feeling confident he's saved enough in the tank, so he's going. He's actually going a little bit faster than the leaders. So Brophy slowed down way down. 23.1 last time by, 22.8, sorry, last time by, so still a little bit off. I don't know if Ike's going to catch him, but if Brophy had slowed down any more, he may very much so. Ray Kingsbury also sitting in 6th place. Whoa, sideways off the corner.
Wow.
Hello. You know, I was going to say, you know, with these guys, you know, not forcing an issue here, not too bad with the grip. Wow. Whew.
Yeah, Brophy really slowed it down. Joshua Chin better be good on fuel because there's no reason for him to be going full song anymore. He's got plenty of room to save anything that he might need to. I think that fuel map, that engine map must have really came into play. Maybe Brophy wasn't on the right map or something.
23.6. He's going slower and slower. That's nervous when you see a driver get slower and slower and slower. So you go, uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably
so here's Jason Brophy. There's Andreas Ike, Van de Sande slowly in tow, as well as Wood and even Kingsbury. So if Brophy learns out of fuel, he's got a bunch of guys, and they're hauling, trying to get to him, because I think they know that he's running out of gas.
Well, up front, Chin just continues to go full song. A 22.297 last time by. He's only a 10th off of Aero, who's been steadily in 9th place. Likely not really going to have anything with Robert Malechka by the end of this race. Joshua Chin chasing some history here.
You can hear how long Brophy's off the throttle trying to save some gas. Hope and a prayer can only do so much. Gotta hope you did the math right.
Yeah, I'll say.
Brophy's just hoping he can last on for 3 more laps. 5 seconds up the road, Josh Shin, he can probably start relaxing now. He's got 2 laps to go out the line here until he sees the checkered flag. Just hoping that he doesn't run into any late race problems, which we have seen in the past. Also, some guys coming off of pit lane, Charles Ante, notably not able to make it to the end. Take a look at Jason Brophy. Really curious to see how this is going to end up because they're getting awfully close. And here's the rear mirror.
It's going to be bad if he doesn't have enough fuel to battle because it could cause a little bit of a stack up for that podium position.
There we go. White flag in the air for Joshua Chin. For the most part, fairly quiet, playing the bridesmaid for most of this race, sitting in 2nd place, waiting for his moment to strike. Well, he found his moment to strike. It wasn't really with an all-out attack. Waiting for the fuel mileage to kick in, and well, it looks like as he comes out of turns 3 and 4, he did the math right. Joshua Chin will win here in Milwaukee and take the top spot on the all-times win list for Indy Elite. And Jason Brophy limping to the line. He's going to just finish ahead. Van de Sande, Ike, I think, also ran out. Van de Sande ended up passing him. How about that? Wood coming across the line in 5th. Ray Kingsbury in 6th. You can see these guys limping through turns 1 and 2 out of gas. Pinheiro looks like he's actually got around Malechka. Malechka also ran out of gas.
He got him by only 2/10. That was a lot more close for all the drivers than I thought.
Wow.
Joshua Chin, that is so impressive. I don't know how he was able to save that much more fuel than everyone. Everyone was pretty much saving to the very end, and Chin was going full song with over 10 laps to go. That is impressive.
See, if you saved enough gas for the burnouts, too.
We'll find out. I'm going to be suspicious if he did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got it for some.
Tech inspection, tech gods.
Figure
something out.
It's struggling.
Okay.
There he goes.
He didn't have that much
Hey, he
more.
had enough to park on the line. Money shot right there.
Perfect. That's how you win number 11.
There you go. Joshua Chin, your race winner. Look at that. Beautiful parking job there for the 93. Got it done. I do want to take a look before we go over anything. I do want to take a look at everyone running out at the line, because I'm sure that we saw about... This is kind of what I was expecting, a bunch of guys running out of gas towards the end of the race here. Alright, so try to take a look. Let's take a look at TV3. We'll take a look. This is Jason Brophy coming to the line. And we'll take a look at Van de Sande, actually, because it was Ike that ran out of gas first. You see off of turn 4.
Right
There's
there.
Ike that muscles his way on past. In behind, Andrew Wood. Ray Kingsbury just limping into the line. Alexis Newsome also as well. And in behind there's Pinheiro. And Brian Carey also spun him at the line, but Carey was not on the lead lap. Otherwise, it would have been another position. Malechka having disappointing day back in 9th. We'll go over that in just a little bit. But there, everyone just running out the line, man. You have to make sure you don't save it to the dot, because the engine starts to sputter a little earlier than some guys think here. But let's go through your finishing lineup here after an intense finish to the end. I mean, usually fuel mileage races aren't that intense, but oh boy, it's really nerve-wracking knowing, not knowing who's got enough. But there you see Joshua Chin, your race winner. Jason Brophy in 2nd. Van de Sande in 3rd, rounding out your podium. Andreas Ike in 4th. Andrew Wood rounding out your top 5.
Then rounding out the top 10, Ray Kingsbury, up and down day for him in 6th. Alexis Newsome, a quiet day in 7th. Adriano Pinheiro, still the driver of the day in my opinion. So quick, the fuel strategy just didn't work out. He ends up getting back to 8th. Robert Malechka in 9th. Brian Carey 10th. Thing to note about the points battle, Andreas Ike's going to gain about 10 points on Malechka that time. Finally something good going his way for the points battle.
Yeah, needed Malechka to struggle in his worst. I mean, it's definitely saying something about Malechka. I think this is his worst finish of the season. So again, he's definitely, I think, doing something right there. Moving on to your second page of results, Tim Holgate, very quiet day for the number 6 car. Saw him do a few passes earlier on, but is able to sneak his way into 11th place. Christopher in 12th, Evan Adams in 13, Tony Schowen in 14, Doug South in 15, KO, Auntie Adams 16th, 17th, and 18th, with Branchen Ensch rounding out 19th and 20th. And as we go to the next page, I think some guys that didn't make it to the end. Marshall Stanley, I think one of the last of the finishers of that race. Jacob Oster, we saw with his wreck in turn number 1 after a solid recovery from his spin earlier on in the day. Wayne Hunter, Roos, Huston, and Diaz and Ball running into their own trouble. And even Diaz too, I don't think we quite got a chance to see what happened, why he hauled that forward, but I digress.
Yeah, it was a very odd situation. He was battling in the top 10, had a very strong car, didn't hit the wall or anything, maybe had something to do that was unrelated, but definitely one of the faster cars, could have been a top 10 for sure.
Absolutely here, and we'll grab your race winner here in just a little bit. Well, let's talk to Alexander Van de Sande. Alex, you got a copy?
I do.
Glad to finally. Have we talked to you this season yet? I don't think we have.
No, I keep choking these races. I've been so close on some of these, but yeah, this is the first one that's gone really well.
I was going to say, because I think we mentioned you a lot of times on the broadcast, but as you mentioned, never quite got the podium, but we finally did, and in exciting fashion, because you didn't have it until you were 100 feet away from the start-finish line. Walk us through the race.
Yeah, we really weren't sure what we had coming into this race, so it was good to see us get it, qualifying up in the top 10, had a really good start, and the first few runs. So yeah, we just made progress up through the field. Long runs, we hurt a little bit. Team talent was really solid there. But when the caution came out when it did, I got really happy because I love fuel saving and I'm good at it. And yeah, just took my time, was patient, and it definitely paid off by the end of the race.
Absolutely, really solid job done. Well, you Megan, as you mentioned, you finally managed to finish on the podium. Season's starting to come down to an end. Not too many tracks left on the schedule. Any race that you fancy that you may finally be able to get that win?
Yeah, maybe. I definitely want to bring home a win on a road course. I've been really solid. So we've got Laguna coming up. I've really enjoyed that track. And then, Indianapolis at the end. That's going to be the big one. I think everybody's going to be gunning for that. And it'd be a really good finish to the season for us.
Yeah, well, I think everyone's gunning for Indianapolis, but I mean, definitely Laguna second, not too bad of a trophy either. Well, glad talking to you, Alexander. It was third place this time. Maybe next week could be on top step of the podium. Good luck to you.
Thanks, guys.
In second place, Jason Brophy. Jason, you seemed like you had it in the bag, but unfortunately didn't save enough gas. Walk us through your race.
That caution, I knew. Remember, I won last time we were here.
Yep.
I won on fuel, and so it was one of those, I practiced. I knew how far I could go on fuel. And when that caution came out, it was so much pain, because you didn't want to give up the lead. I didn't want to give up track position. I thought I was making the number at the beginning, but it's just tough to tell. And about, 30 laps to go, I knew, okay, we're off. I've got to really start saving. And so I engaged the clutch, like 13 to go. We knew Chin was going to be a little better just because he was in my draft. And so that helped a lot with the fuel save. And so I could, I wasn't that worried at that point. I'm glad Chin made the setup. He did a lot of work on this setup. Loves the track, and it was really good. We were really fast, as you can see. We jumped out, and we're overall really, really well done as a team. But I knew I was in trouble when that fuel save number. I was really hoping for a caution, a couple quick cautions, and then we'd be good, could race it out. But it's not the way it was. Not the way it was meant to be. So still a good day for all of us.
Yeah, well, still a solid run nonetheless, Jason. Let's see, I'm trying to remember correctly. Have you gotten a win this season yet? I don't think you have, right?
Nope, this is my best finish. Really, this is my best finish since last time we were out in Milwaukee. I don't know that I have a runner-up since then. So
we were talking in the broadcast because it was actually, I think, 2 years to the day that you won last time in Milwaukee.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
well, it'd been nice to win.
It was February 23rd, so not exactly the day, but almost exactly 2 years. So, unfortunately, didn't get it this week, but hey, still 5 weeks left in the season.
Yep, no, I'm happy to run this well. Like, before the race, I didn't expect to run as well as I did. I think of us, I had the least bad Q run. So, starting second, I was able to make a move on Ray and get the lead. And then pretty tough when we all had a really good set for anyone to make a move. But Chin did really well, and I'm glad that for, my private label team height teammate, I'm really happy that he was able to win. He did a lot of work on this setup, and we were quite good with it. So I really appreciate it.
Well, still, even though it wasn't the win, very solid run for you in the 88 all day. I think you're in the top 3 pretty much the entirety of the race, so that's definitely something to be proud of. Jason, great run for you in number 88. Good luck to you for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And last but certainly not least is Joshua Chin. And Josh, I was actually just taking a look. I didn't realize how long it's been since you've been in this series. I don't know if it's because I'm mistaking running with you in Lionheart that I've seen your name a lot. The last time you started for Indy Elite, I think it was 2019. I'm looking at. So
yeah, there's been a whole pandemic since the last time I ran.
Yeah. Then indeed it has. But how about that? You've been away for 2 years. You come back and you take the victory. How'd you manage to pull it off?
It started off early in the week. Brophy wanted setup help because I like Milwaukee, and he kind of figured I would put something together, and he spent, I think, 4 hours on Sunday messing around with something and wasn't really on the pace he wanted to be at, and I came in, half an hour working, we were back where we wanted to be, so I went, maybe I'll end up running this, and put in work, especially yesterday, getting the qualifying setup in. All of us airballed our laps for the most part, but we at least were able to convert the race results. Almost got a 1, 2, 3, 4. We didn't knock Alex out of there, so that's the only problem. But yeah, overall the car was really good, and I like short tracks, so that helped. And it was nice to just kind of get in a rhythm from early on, working with the setup. The cautions didn't really help early on for getting track position, but once Ray made the pit stop, we kind of broke free from the rest of the pack and were able to sail away. And then once we got that final caution, it was close on gas, and we saw Adriano start moving up through. So I was like, I'm going to save it because there's no way he's going to make it. He's going to have to come in. And I think Brophy got a little target fixated on him, burned off too much fuel, and that was ultimately kind of the difference at the end.
Well, still, I mean, I'm still amazed you just come back in and immediately take home the win. Do you tend to see you coming back for any more races for the rest of the season, at least Indy?
I might make a few starts here and there. All depends on work schedule and what's going on, but probably try and show up for some more of the road courses and just kind of hang out and vibe, kind of like that race went. It went in with no expectations, and it was kind of nice to just have no pressure and just go do and, you know, have fun.
Indeed, definitely look like you're having a lot of fun out there. Great job with you, Josh. Hopefully we can see you back before the season's over. Great run again.
Thank you, guys.
And last but not least, we got Ray Kingsbury to talk in, and I think it'll be wrong not to talk to the pole sitter for this race. Ray, unfortunately, wasn't the win you were probably expecting starting in the front. Little bit of an unorthodox pit strategy. You were in the midfield, and you definitely looked to be a pretty fast car, but just didn't end up on the top step of the podium.
Yeah, the KES Industries machine was just wicked quick, but yeah, once we lost the lead, I figured let's go grab some tires, at least half the field will follow, and that didn't happen, so that really hurt us. And then we recovered up to 6th, and then I got a speeding penalty. I just kind of forgot where the line was, I guess. That hurt even more. But to finish 6th after all that, it's not too bad. I think the car had the pace for the win, but you know, our short track package, as you saw last year at Iowa, was just incredible.
Yeah, I remember you dominating that race, and as I mentioned earlier too, the car just seemed pretty quick, and just not the track position, I guess. You know, looking back, do you think maybe that, do you think if you didn't have this pit road speeding penalty, you think you might have been a factor at the end? Or do you think it might have been a little bit too much of a hurdle to overcome the leaders?
Well, let's just say I made up half a lap on the 4 guys that finished ahead of me. The only one that who I didn't was Chin and Brophy. Obviously, they were 8 seconds up the road, so would have been fun. I wouldn't want to say I would have walked there with a win. Jason was fast, and so was Josh.
Yeah, well, looking at the rest of the schedule, we got Worldwide Technology Raceway coming up, and you're talking about your short level package being pretty good. Pretty much your bread and butter looking at it there, so looking at that as potentially your next win?
You probably won't see me the rest of the season, unfortunately. I've started,
no.
Yeah, Tuesday nights is all I can make, so this is my only race of the season, so decent result for the only race of the season for us, but I'm sure Flynn will put on a good show for you guys. I'll make sure he's got a good package for that race.
We'll definitely keep our eyes on Flynn Lazier when he shows up. Thanks for talking to us, Ray. Glad to see you out here. It wasn't the win, but really entertaining drive nonetheless. We saw you actually wheeling. I think the few times we saw you sliding out of some of the corners. trying to make
I
up
really
time.
like to drive off the rear. It was fastest if you drove it a little sideways, so.
It was definitely entertaining to watch, Ray. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and with that, Connor, it's going to wrap up interviews for tonight. Some fantastic stuff here from Milwaukee. They can definitely put on a lot more of a show than we were anticipating tonight.
I think we were anticipating a single file bore fest. I didn't say that to you personally, but that's what I was personally expecting.
I think that's what I was expecting too. You know,
yeah, and we really didn't get that. We had a lot of side-by-side action. Obviously, on the restarts, you're going to see a lot of that, but even as the race sort of panned out and maybe spread out a little bit, we saw a lot of interesting racing. We saw different strategies, and we saw Jason Brophy and Joshua Chin dominate for the most part, and then it came down to fuel mileage. We saw Adriano Pinheiro continue his impressive drive. He went 17th to first, which is so impressive, but didn't have the fuel to maintain the lead that he fought for. And Brophy just didn't have enough at the end to save and stay ahead of Joshua Chin. And Joshua Chin, just incredible drive, saving enough fuel, right engine map potentially, got him up there and put him at the top of the pylon for all-time wins in Indy Elite. It was a very impressive drive for that 93.
Indeed. Well, that's going to wrap up coverage here from Milwaukee. But before we go, some races coming up on SimTV. Next race for this group of drivers will not be next Tuesday, as the last two races have been. We go back to Sundays. after an off week, so we're not going to be on the 27th. We're going to be on March 6th. That'll be at Laguna Seca for the Monterey Grand Prix. After that, well, that aside, looking at the stock car side of things, got Atlanta coming up with the Xfinity cars. That's going to be a fantastic race. A lot of these guys are sliding around here. Wait till you see them at Atlanta. It's going to be a completely different story heading to that track. We also have the Washington, D.C. region guys coming up tomorrow night. They're going to be racing at Brands Hatch in GT4 machinery. Is it Brands? Yeah, it is Brands Hatch for them.
Yes.
And then also tomorrow night too will be the Drivers Club Road Atlanta drivers. They'll be heading to Road Atlanta immediately after Washington region SCCA. They will be taking on Road Atlanta. A lot of names are getting mixed up here. A lot of geographical locations. I'm getting my words mixed up. So 2 races coming up tomorrow night, and then we got Saturday, and then 2 Sundays after that we'll be back with Indy Lead. But for now, my name is Finicuna here with Connor Horton. We'll be signing out here from Milwaukee. Thank you for watching.